Welcome to Minnesota Mouseketeers, where Midwest mom meets pixie dust. I'm your host, Molly, a Minnesota-based mom of two who can't get enough of the world of Disney. Every week, we're talking Disney magic, mom life, and everything in between. Whether you're planning your next park trip with picky eaters, looking for the next great Disney merch haul, or just dreaming of Dole Whip, you're in the right place. Let's dive into the magic.
Hey there, hi there, ho there, friends, and welcome to the first episode of Minnesota Mouseketeers. I'm so excited to share my lifelong love of Disney with you. I'm your host, Molly, and I can't begin to tell you how excited I am that you're here. If you're a Disney adult like myself, then you know the last few weeks have been a little cringy, but nevertheless, we're here and we're ready to get started. As you can tell by the name, I'm a proud Minnesotan and mom of two. We recently moved back to Minnesota from Seattle, and I felt like it was a time for a shift for me. As you can tell by the name of the show, I'm a proud Minnesotan mom of two, and I'll admit, a diehard Disney adult. Admitting it is the first step, right? For the last 6 years, I've been working as a life coach for moms, helping them find their passion and purpose in the chaos of postpartum life. Along that journey, I found myself finding so much joy in weaving Disney into my everyday. And my journey into motherhood wasn't easy. I mean, really, is becoming a mom ever easy? And this might sound like an exaggeration, but it was Disney that helped me kind of reconnect with myself and find my passions and my sense of wonder. Disney is so great at incorporating fun and play and coping when things feel overwhelming. So that's why I created this space, to share the magic, the healing, and the joy with other moms and families who are looking for a little bit of pixie dust in the middle of everyday chaos. So what is this podcast going to be about? Over the course of this show, we're going to cover all kinds of Disney goodness, from planning your next trip to Walt Disney World, for hacks at doing the parks with littles, or even by yourself, which is admittedly something I love to do. We're also going to have honest conversations about real life that happens in between the magic. So let's dig a little bit deeper. One thing I really want to talk about is how to have fun in the parks with picky eaters. Because let's be real, when you're traveling with kids, or even adults who know what they like and don't like, food can make or break the day. There's so many options at Disney. So I'll be talking with you about the best spots to grab something simple, kid-friendly, or allergy-friendly. And we'll dive into the menus. I'll share my favorites, hidden gems, and we're gonna talk strategy. If you've ever been to Food and Wine Festival, you know if you don't have a plan, you're probably gonna fail. So when you should book those sit-down meals versus when a quick service is going to get you through the day, because nobody wants hangry meltdowns to ruin that magic. We're also going to talk about what you need to bring with you. Packing for Disney can feel like its own level of magic that you need to have an advanced sorcery degree to accomplish. So what do you actually need in your park bag? What's the best park bag for you to have? What's a lifesaver to have on hand for small kids? And what about moms who are taking a solo trip and want to keep it light? I always overpack. I'll be breaking down the must-haves versus the nice-to-haves and the leave-them-behinds. I'll share my favorite organizational hacks, accessories, and everything to help you avoid overpacking so you're not lugging around a 50-pound backpack through the parks. We all have our tips and tricks to get through traveling with small kids. And if you've ever traveled with toddlers or preschools, you know it's like a theme park all in itself. So before you even step foot in the parks, we're going to talk through the things like how to handle stroller naps, what to do during those inevitable meltdowns, and how to use Ride Switch like a pro. And how to get those realistic expectations so your trip doesn't feel like one giant juggling act. Disney can be magical with little kids, but it can also be overwhelming. We want to get through these park trips with little to no regrets, but it takes a little prep and a lot of patience. So I've got you. I also want to touch on some of the magical extras that make Disney very special. We're going to chat about merchandise because yes, I have a lot of opinions on things like spirit jerseys and pins. I'm going to go through some of my favorite souvenirs, what my kids have loved, and what was pointless to buy. And I also want to talk to you about things you can buy before you get in the park or where to find merchandise outside of the parks. I have found some amazing things at TJ Maxx, Marshall's, Home Goods, all of those things. And I want to share those with you because Disney adventures deserve to be remembered. Think of this podcast as equal parts practical planning and a Disney best friend giving you a therapy session. So there's a lot of Disney content creators out there. So what makes me and this podcast different? This isn't just going to be about Genie Plus strategies or watching people unwrap mystery pins, which is great content. This is a space where we're going to blend Disney magic with the real life of being a mom in the Midwest who has to collect information and figure it out because I'm not right down the street from the park. It's about making the most of these pretty expensive trips while balancing picky eaters, strollers, flight delays, hotel moving, and of course, the meltdowns. And you still get to find your own joy as the mom on this trip. I want this podcast to feel like chatting with your Disney obsessed best friend because that is who I am. So where else can you find me? If you want even more Mouseketeer shenanigans, make sure you're following along on Instagram at MS Mouseketeer, where I'm going to share park tips, Disney mom life, and plenty of the behind the scenes fun. You can also check out the blog at mnmouseketeers.com, where I'll be sharing printables, planning resources, interviews with other Disney moms, and all of the extras that don't quite fit onto the podcast. And if you're loving what you hear, please hit subscribe and share with your other Disney obsessed friends. Thank you so much for hanging out with me here today. I'm so excited to share this with you. If you have any questions or anything like that, please feel free to reach out. You can contact me on Instagram or you can email me. I'll drop all those in the show notes. Thanks so much for being here. Thanks so much for joining me on this magical episode of Minnesota Mouseketeers. If you loved what you heard, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share the pixie dust with a friend. For even more Disney tips, planning tools, and Midwest mom magic, follow along on Instagram at mnmouseketeer. Join the newsletter and grab your free trip countdown printable at mnmouseketeers.com. Until next time, keep the magic alive, and we'll see ya on Main Street.